Leeds United made the most of their second chance in the European Cup against Stuttgart, the team they say has more foreign reserves than the Bank of England. Leeds won 2-1 in Barcelona in front of a tiny crowd. Their hero was Carl Sewell. He scored the winner less than a minute after coming on as a substitute, and tomorrow's his birthday.
Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to a Talking Shutt, episode 149 of the Euro Talking Shutt at the moment, I think.
I thought we voted. Talking Euro Shutt.
Yeah?
I thought we voted to be out of this.
Ooh. Ooh, someone's a bit catty. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to the show. Obviously, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. If you're watching live right now, make sure you share it. Obviously, you'll have the Italy game on in the background, but you can listen to us talking waffle as well for a bit. I'm obviously joined by Mike. Hey, Mike. All right, pal. You been zooing much? Have you been to the zoo?
Not this week. I've been picking up overtime at work, so yeah, and trying to just forget about a certain result that just happened.
Yeah, we'll come to the certain result in a bit, mate. Yeah.
God help you a weekend then.
Yeah. Oh, it starts. It begins already. It's begun.
It's all right.
Joined by Ben, who's coming through a million decibels, so I think he might need to turn himself down.
I'll step back a bit.
Oh, getting excited, aren't you? Getting in to try and get into Mike about the upcoming game at the weekend. Ben, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Can't complain. Nice weather.
Yeah, good. Feel like you're in Barbados or something?
Not quite, because I'll be sat on the beach and not sat in my house sweating doing this.
No, right, fair enough.
Wow,
basically.
You'd much rather be sweating doing this, wouldn't you? Obviously.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I'm here.
Obviously, I'm joined by Raggy, who was not here last week. He was on a scouting mission or something. I don't know. We'll make up a story.
I've had a few weeks off, to be honest. So it's good to be back. Thanks for letting me back on. It's good.
It's good to have you back. And a voice you may not have heard before. We're joined by Carl from the Terrace. Carl Sewell, that's his real name. He's not called Carl Terrace, although I think it might be coming at some point in the future. Carl, how the devil are you?
I'm very well. Really hot. Very hot at the moment. But I'm all good. It's been a long day at the office and I'm finally home.
Yeah, it's not really the weather for printing mugs, mate, is it? To be honest,
no, it's really. I promise you, it's not. Although I can't comment on that because I'm upstairs in the air-conditioned office.
Nice. So yeah, Carl's going to stick with us for about 20 minutes, half an hour, just to talk about some fundraising that the Terrace so amazingly doing for our real first part of topic of conversation, really. So. On Saturday, obviously, lovely sunny day. I took my son's football training and he was like, can we mate come round and watch Matching Garden? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So we sat down to watch the Denmark game, obviously. And I went to the fridge to grab a beer and came back to find some sort of a commotion going off on the pitch, obviously. Unbeknown to me that Christian Eriksen was in a particularly poor state of health on the pitch at the time. Did all you guys catch it live, or did you just catch it on the news or whatever?
I was doing my patio and I just checked my phone. I was nearly finished. I checked my phone and someone said that Christian Eriksen had gone down, so I sort of came in and put the TV on. But it was they had the blockade things around him at that point by the time I'd got in. So,
but yeah, the game was.
Sorry, Michael.
I was just saying I caught it live. The game was kind of a bit of a stalemate, and I was just on my phone with it on in the background, and then I sort of thought this pause has been going on a while. Like, what's that? And I looked up, and like Ben said, you just saw the Denmark players forming that shield in front of him, and you're seeing him get defibbed, and it's like, Jesus Christ! I went out into the garden and got my brother because he was like, "Wow, what a horrendous, tragic sight."
Yeah,
thing is, I mean,
go on, Cal.
I was going to say I put a tweet out about it, and on that note, where you were talking about the wall of Denmark players and so on as well, which I thought was amazing to see. But I also thought it was it's a shame that we live in a world where the players knew they had to go and make that wall so the media couldn't film him. Like, you know, we shouldn't have to, you know, they shouldn't have to be in that frame of mind when their teammates behind them with the defib and stuff. But, you know, I put a tweet out that got some kind of mixed responses regarding the BBC on that front and stuff, because whilst I know their feeds come from UEFA, then it's not them filming it and so on. I felt they could have cut to the studio and stuff a lot quicker. Like, I didn't need to see his wife hysterical on the sidelines. I didn't need to see him being defibbed through the players' legs that they were zooming in on. Like, I thought it was, and yeah, we were watching it, and, you know, they got very mixed responses. Some of the responses were kind of like, you could have just turned your telly off, but I feel that's completely taken away from the point that we're trying to discuss and stuff. And it's like, you know, someone kind of replied to one of those tweets saying, if someone got hit by a drunk driver, would you tell them, well, they could just not cross the road? It's kind of like we're taking away from the point of the fact that I felt the media coverage was kind of, they treated it more like a drama. I mean, the BBC can apologise for it later on, that they probably left it rolling a little bit too long, but it was scary more than anything. I think it was just scary. Like, if you were watching it live, literally, it was for the throw-in, wasn't it? And he just kind of stumbled forwards and collapsed in front of everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I probably come from a slightly different angle to you guys, not meaning to do a disservice to any of you. Obviously, in my day job, I've witnessed it and I've done it a couple of times myself. And one thing that always strikes me, Carl, just on the point that you've mentioned, I've had a few incidents at work over years where we've had people actually trying to push emergency workers out of the way to take photos and film incidents that you're occurring at. And I feel like it's a problem in modern society that people are just desperate for that 10 seconds of fame because they get that image or that video that goes viral, and then they can claim it for their own. And it completely detracts away from the human element of, you know, the fact that somebody's there who essentially is dead, and then they're working on him to keep him alive. And it's the same across the board. And like, the reality of it is okay, Christian Eriksen's a superstar and all that type of stuff. But the way that social media works now is that if you film someone receiving CPR, literally their loved ones can find out about them receiving CPR before they even know anything about it. It goes that viral and flies around. And I must admit, I'm with you, Carl, and I don't really buy into these people who reply back where you could just walk across the road and all that, because again, it's taken away from the fact that that's a person, that's someone's brother, someone's son, someone's dad, someone's husband, who basically is bearing all on national, worldwide television. And you know, that for me is the bit that's terrible. And then to focus on his wife, who is literally,
that bit was just really uncomfortable.
Unneeded,
really uncomfortable.
Just totally unneeded and unrequired. And I mean, obviously, this is why we've got you on, Carl, to talk about obviously what you guys did in reaction to it from the Terrace, knowing the brand as well as I know you. I know that's what, you know, the Terrace is all about for you guys. You know, you put the things in motion and the fans do the rest. But like, I have a real I feel like a dog in the fight a little bit. That I find it absolutely deplorable, the amount of money that's sloshing around at the top of the game. And we've got grassroots teams, we've got even teams in lower non-league levels who don't have a defibrillator. They don't have it.
Yeah, you know, that kind of highlights the topic, really. It's when you think, you know, everyone saw it on telly, what happened to Christian Eriksen, but it doesn't just happen at elite level. It's not because he's running too fast. It's not because he's asked too much. You know, it happens to anybody. It happens to kids. It happens to adults. It happens to anyone. And, you know, as you go down the pyramid, down to grassroots, there just isn't the money. It's, you know, I can tell you, obviously we've been, the last 72 hours, we've kind of been wrapped up in this whole defibrillator kind of world of like talking to people and doing interviews and researching. And, you know, a defibrillator costs, the cheapest one you'll find is between £800 and £1,200 for a defibrillator. We, through our campaign and stuff, and the research we've done, there is an FA campaign called, I think it's called Safe Heart. And what that does is that grassroots teams can go and buy a defibrillator that retails at £1,400, but they get it for £750 instead. And the FA make up the difference. But that's great. I mean, you have to, at least something's being put on the table as such. But
What grassroots
I
clubs?
think the FA have £750. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
ideal with grassroots clubs all day, every day. And when we're pricing up their kits, they haven't got £500 to buy the kit with.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, and a defibrillator is going to come, you know, if you put health first, defibrillator comes before a kit, but they need a kit to play in. It's, you know, referees, you know, someone gets a yellow card at grassroots level, they're paying the same fine as what a Premier League player is paying. They have to pay fines. And yeah, you've got, you know, I've seen grassroots setups, players pay their fines and stuff, but I've worked very closely with Bletchley Park FC, and some players don't pay their fines. Players leave the club with outstanding fines. There's bigger fines for bigger problems. There's so much money required at grassroots level that to expect a club that plays once a week, trains once a week, all have full-time jobs, and it's more of a hobby at a lot of grassroots levels, to expect them to just have 750 quid plus VAT, bearing in mind these clubs won't be VAT registered because they don't turn off enough money. So it's £900 in total they've got to pay for a defibrillator through the scheme. And that, I feel, is just, it's not acceptable for grassroots level football. And I think where the change has to come there is either the FA have just fined, I think it's the FA, it could be UA, I don't follow it enough, but whoever's just fined the Big Six for the Super League, there's £20 million there. That 20 million, 3 weeks ago, they did not have. It was not in their budget. It was not catered for anything. So they have just gained £20 million from nowhere that is not actually allocated to anything. Go and put a defibrillator in every grassroots football club. Do you know what I mean? If you're buying £20 million worth from trade source, you're going to get them cheaper than what they retail at. And for me, it's, you know, the Christian Eriksen stuff really highlighted it at the weekend. And now, but the thing is, you can't just now go and have 6 months of meetings discussing it, and then do a bit more research, and then start doing surveys with clubs through all the local FA. You just need to act, because next weekend could be the time it happens again. But it could be a 7-year-old kid playing under-8 football. It could be anything. And, you know, we want to make... So, whereas the FA technically could drop that money and just order them, get them done, get them into grassroots levels, I think you actually have to go deeper than the teams. I think it's a case of you have to start looking at venues of where the teams play. Now, a lot of teams do just play on playing fields and so on, but of a certain level and above, there will always be changing rooms. There will be, you know, facilities on grounds and stuff. And I think that's where you need to start, because by putting a defibrillator at a set of changing rooms, that doesn't just cover one team. That covers every single team that play on that pitch. Some pitches will have, or some areas will have 8 pitches, and there'll be 8 games going on at once with 16 teams. 16 teams plus all their staff, friends, family watching and so on. That one defibrillator at one venue can cover 400 people. So instantly, you know, it doesn't even have to suddenly rack up of how many grassroots football teams there are. But, you know, Terrace is a reactive business, and we've reacted like we always do to anything that happens in football. And instantly, Paul and I had a phone call, and we were like, let's pay for a defibrillator out of our own pocket for one team. And we chose Roseley 86 in Derbyshire, a team that we've just recently been working with on some kit supply and training supply stuff. And we thought it'd be, whilst we're doing some work with them and honing in a little bit on how we can help them, we thought it'd be great to type with them. So we ordered theirs yesterday, and it arrived this morning. So as of now, straight away, they're safe. There's, you know, if the worst happens, if there's an emergency, they're on hand. But that goes for all their teams because they play at the same venue at the same time and stuff. But then obviously we were kind of like, how do we fund more? You know, we're realistic in the sense that we'll always help when we can, but we're not a cash-rich business. We don't have millions sat in a bank account where we can just drop it. So it was kind of like, we have the opportunity here to kind of go down a fundraising route, but give fans something back for their donation. So we designed a key ring and got it all set up. We tried to make it as kind of like appropriate to the cause as possible, and put them on sale. And we had no expectation, because, you know, being completely transparent about it, whenever anything happens, doesn't have to be in football. How many times do you see a GoFundMe suddenly appear, and then this appear and that appear, and then someone goes, that's a good idea, they copy it, and suddenly there's like 50 people fundraising for the same thing, and it's very watered down and you'll have 49 of those 50 that have raised £11 or something. So we were like, we don't really know how big or how far we can stretch. But from the second we dropped it, it just kind of people clicked. And I think it was the way we worded it, how we marketed it, how we designed it, a bit of thought went into it, just to try and capture their attention, really. And before we knew it, we had all of our licensed clubs retweeting it and getting behind it. And then Laura Woods started talking about it on TalkSport Breakfast Show with Ali McVoist. I think we're just shy of 1,000 key rings now, which is basically paid for 4.5 defibrillators at the moment. So by the end of tomorrow, we should be at 5. And now we've set up a kind of application process where clubs can come apply. And that's the hardest part, really, is that, we've already had 20, 30 clubs fill in an application form in the first day of they want one, they need one, they haven't got one and stuff. And we're sitting here at 5 now. We'd love it to be 500 if we had our way, but it's when we put it on Twitter and stuff, like 5 defibrillators might not sound too much, but that's $4,500 that we've just raised in 24 hours to pay for defibrillators. And it's kind of like, it's tough because we kind of think if more people retweet it, more people share it, more people buy it, that's just going to keep rolling, and we're going to keep pushing every day to kind of keep on it. We've made some noise now, and we're not at a 5-minute kind of flash and forget about it tomorrow. We'll just keep going and going and going. But now we've got to try and decide on what clubs to choose to kind of give the defibrillators to. That's the hardest part. How do you choose?
Yeah, true, yeah. Just to put into some sort of context as well, because I do also believe that there is a slight amount of ignorance around the importance of defibs. Not because people choose to be ignorant, it's just a lack of education about how important they are. So I used to coach a junior side. We approached a lot of the other sports groups at this particular side I were at. We wanted £50 per group to buy as a defib. They turned it down. What do we need that for? My son's in the under 5s, will not need a defib, all that other stuff. Anyway, managed to fundraise, used a few grants from various people. Got a defib. I left the club. The defib got used last year and saved a woman's life. So to give concept to it, for every minute that a defib is not being used on a patient in cardiac arrest, their chance of survival goes down by 10%.
It's insane. The figures are insane. And suddenly you start to realise that this bit of equipment that nobody has is actually really, really important.
Yep. Really, really important. Really, really straightforward to use. You turn it on, it tells you what to do, it tells you where to put the pads, it tells you when to push. You literally cannot shock somebody accidentally. It'll only let you shock them if they're in a shockable rhythm. That's why they're in supermarkets. That's why they're in, shopping centres, leisure centres, all that.
It's funny because the ones we bought say... Yeah, the ones the ones that we're supplying, say on it it's got voice instructions. So when you press start, it's got a recorded message that just shows you tells you what you got to do. It's such an amazing bit of kit, and I can understand why it's so expensive and stuff. It's just, where do you find the money from? We're doing our best and stuff, but we're hardly going to touch grassroots football. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, I'm sure the FA will provide something and stuff, but I don't know whether they're sitting that their kind of funding of 40% or whatever it is enough. But grassroots teams, one of you guys said it and hit the nail on the head. Grassroots teams haven't got 900 quid just laying around to go and buy a defibrillator. It's not because they don't want one or don't need one. It's just because it's physically impossible.
Yeah, true.
Me and Raggy used to play for the same team, and there were times you couldn't even get 11 players and stuff like that, and so that the stuff like the defibrillators and that sort of stuff, it kind of becomes I wouldn't say irrelevant, but not thought of as well, because 100%, people just want to go. But then, what do you do if someone, if Christian Eriksen can, and we don't know the ins and outs on why he's had a heart attack, but he's a fit footballer who's been doing it for a long time, and other things might make a difference to his personal body and stuff like that of why he's had a heart attack. But I guess in the grassroots game, people are more likely to have a heart attack because they could be unfit, they've been out the night before or whatever, and whatever substances they want to be using and stuff like that. And you've got 22 people turning up on a Saturday. There could be just that risk that something does happen.
I think
like you say, if there's something there, then it can get sorted out a lot quicker.
I think it's like, as kind of like the public, football fans, the community, I don't think we realise how often it does happen, because we only see it when it happens on the elite level that's on telly and it's in the news and BBC are having a field day, and we only see it then. So you had Mwamba, you got Eriksen. It's the only time. I can't tell you any other times it's happened. I guarantee you it's happening every week. Every week it's happening, but just on levels that are not publicised or not kind of like in the world view. And I think if we were actually to realise or be educated on how often it is happening, whether it is weekly or daily or hourly, I don't know. It's, that might kind of change the perception on how important it is. But is there a case now that governing bodies and stuff, when someone registers a football club, it now becomes, for example, if you, when we were working with Bletchley Park, they are in whatever step they're in the football pyramid. And I think they won the league and they were going to go up the league, but they were stopped from being promoted because to go up a league, they had to have floodlights. There was no way that they could go up and be in the next league because the next league requires Tuesday night games. And to have that, you obviously have to have floodlights. The league they were in, they weren't allowed in that league until they had dugouts. So each time you go up a league in the pyramid, something else is required, whether it's floodlights, whether it's dugouts. With dugouts comes fencing around the pitch. There's all these different things. A walkway or a referee's room is like right at the bottom, and it gets more and more and more as you go up. Why are we not putting somewhere in there that for a certain step and above, your club has to own a defibrillator? Because if you have to be in that league, now I know the owners shouldn't be put onto the grassroots teams to get the money, but if you're being promoted into the next league, even if it is at step 9 or something, it's really low down. If you have to have one, you have to have one to be in the league. You can register a defibrillator, so you can register it to show that you've got one, or that your venue has one. The venue that you play at might have one, and that might service 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. It's and them 7 teams all chip in £100 each to put one on the wall or whatever. There are ways to do it. It's just a case of governing it and actually putting it into action, and that's where I touched upon about, we can't now spend 6 months having meetings, and that's why we reacted so quickly. And, this happened at the weekend, and our first defibrillator got delivered Wednesday morning. You act quick on it, and the trouble is with a lot of the bodies above and stuff is that, I think we all know it's going to now be loads of meetings and then loads of conferences and discussions, and it'll happen again, and then it'll get brought forward, and it's just, I think, before the FA start worrying about having fence poles around your pitch and the dugout because you're in a new league and stuff, might be worth putting a defibrillator before that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Carl,
just to say, dugouts for the team cost £2,500. So that puts it into perspective of what a club has to pay out to get into a league above. Suddenly a £900 defibrillator seems pretty cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. Carl, I'm conscious of time, mate. Just tell people where you can find the key rings. I'm sure we've talked about you guys enough times on here so people know the Terrace, but just to remind them.
Of course. If you just go to terracelife.co/lifesaver or the terracestore.com, you'll see it on our homepage and stuff, and you can buy it there.
Yeah.
And if you also go to the terracestore.com, this is a long-winded one, /pages/lifesaver, you can also apply if you want to receive one of the free ones.
Absolutely. So, Carl, thanks very much for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Go and enjoy your evening.
Great
it's an
initiative.
Pleasure. Great work you guys are doing at the Terrace. Again. So good luck with it. We'll keep pushing it out, all that type of stuff. We'll keep supporting it. Mate, thanks very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Nice to see you again, pal. And I'll speak to you soon.
Too. Cheers, lads. Enjoy it.
Cheers.
See ya.
Thanks a lot.
Carl, the legend from the Terrace. So let's talk about some football now. We've obviously had a good chat there about the need for a defib, all that type of stuff that's very important. Kalvin Phillips. Let's talk about Kalvin Phillips. Let's talk about how all them turds, dickheads who said he's not good enough, he shouldn't play there, we should play crippled Jordan Henderson with his knees on backwards first. And Kalvin just picked that up, screwed it into a ball, and stuck it right up their ass. What did you make of Kalvin's performance against Croatia? A few people, by the way, as well, which I'm not happy about, are dumbing down the fact that, oh, he's only against Croatia. World Cup finalists, Croatia.
Well, Croatia, who after Trippier scored against them in the semi-final, then Modric absolutely bossed the midfield against us and destroyed us 3 years ago. Croatia.
Croatia, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're full of Leeds bias, always have done, always will be. But it was refreshing to see everyone who's not Leeds just all wax lyrical about him as well. You know what I mean? It's like, it really, there's a lot, like you say, a lot of things that have been said leading into the tournament. Should he be there? Should other people be ahead of him? You know, should he even be playing? All that kind of stuff. And all of them are swallowing the words now because, you know, not only was it a great performance, he was by far the best player on the pitch. The entire pitch, both teams, unbelievable. And played out of position. I mean, that's the crazy thing about it.
So on a Leeds thing then, Rags, on that, does that kind of change our transfer dealings?
We need to go out and buy 4. That's what we need to buy. We've got our 8/10. That's Kalvin. We need to buy a 4. Let's go buy Rice.
Yeah, no, let's not buy him. Towards the end of last season, a bag of rice. Towards the end of last season, we saw Robin Koch play holding, and we saw Kalvin get pushed forward a couple of times. So I'm just wondering if, you know, maybe that changed it because he looked very, very accomplished. You know, we are very biased, but you know, you can't be sniffed at that performance. One slight downside that did annoy me and continues to annoy me is how suddenly all these big 6 teams are now posting photoshops of him wearing their shirts. Get to fuck. There isn't this thing that you can just come and cherry pick whichever player you want. Like, get fucked off. They do my head in. I hate it. I hate this thing of, oh, he's good, we'll sign him, we'll have him tomorrow. We'll just nip in and just steal him away from him. Yeah.
They forget one thing though, don't they? We're Leeds United.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't deal like that.
No, I mean,
not anymore.
Let's be honest. I mean, if I'm very guilty of getting carried away, but let's be honest. If he has the continued effect that he's having at the minute, both for Leeds United and internationally, and stays at Leeds United for his entire career, and maybe leads us to Europe and that type, we're talking statues here. We're talking, you know, Leeds legendary status for the rest of his days. We're not talking about, you know, a flash in the pan. And I mean, Mark Ride makes a comment in the comments. This is one good performance for England. I totally agree with that. But what can't be sniffed at is it's one good performance at his first major tournament against a top class side.
After the season of stepping up into the Premier League, and there was a few moments where he didn't have the best of games, but in the whole, he's had a brilliant season. He's then got into the England side and like Leeds have done all season, proved everything wrong in that he was the best player on the pitch. Yeah. After people, I think there was the bit in the Under the Kosh lads, the bald one who does the sort of presenting. He said about why has he picked Phillips? He's thinking about like Phillips. He was shocked at Phillips, and then I think like 30 minutes into the game, he said Phillips is having a stormer here, and sort of eating his words, and that's what he did for everyone.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. What I say about Phillips is, you know, he keeps proving the doubters wrong. This isn't just a one-off of, oh, he's just had a good performance. It's like the first time we played Arsenal in the FA Cup, he had a great game there. Then he, you know, stepped up into the Premier League, had a great season. Now he's doing it for England. He just rises to every single challenge, and that's what I love about the guy. Like, and I, you know, whoever England end up playing when they get out the group stages, be it Portugal or whoever, he'll rise to that challenge as well. I'm 100% sure. You know, you can't stop the guy.
From a wider perspective as well, it really worked, that midfield on Saturday. I was quite impressed with it. Rice in that holding role, I thought he did well. Kalvin obviously getting about and ratting around people, and we looked pretty impressive, to be honest. I mean, I've been the first one to call Sterling being poor, but I thought he started a little bit shaky against Croatia, but then I thought he came into it and looked dangerous every time. And it's I thought that, to be honest, I thought if any player deserves some criticism, Harry Kane, he looked an absolute mile off it. He looked so far off it. It looked unreal. So it'd be interesting to see come
that's England's
Friday
problem,
against.
though, isn't it? Because even if he's not bang on it, whether it's fitness or whether he's form or anything like that, we play him, and we do it. We're doing it at tournaments. We do it at qualifying, and that's the issue he's got. Really, he's almost made himself undroppable when realistically, like you say, he didn't look good. I don't think.
No, he didn't. He looked to be struggling. What did you make of a right back and left back? We've all joked about how many right backs he signs, but how many he calls up. But what did you reckon to Trippier at left back? I thought he did quite well, to be honest.
I thought Trippier were fine. The other side, maybe not so much. I think Walker were just erratic. I think I'd call it.
But we dropped him in our selection, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah.
Well, I think for me, Reece James. I'd pick Reece James all day long.
All day long. Yeah.
But me and my dad, I went to my dad's to watch it. We had a barbecue on Sunday, and we were talking about what would your starting 11 be? And I actually called the midfield and the attacking absolutely spot on to what, but my back four was completely, well, apart from Stones and Pickford, completely different to what he went for. I'd have gone James, I'd have gone White alongside Stones. I wouldn't have had Mings anywhere near it, and I'd have had Shaw or Chilwell. I wouldn't have gone Trippier, but I thought Trippier did all right.
I think you just got him in there for the experience, and that's really the only sort of defining thing I can pick out about Trippier.
But no, I thought Trippier was all right.
So, obviously, we'll get into Raggy's predictor a little bit later because the main man's here today to make a better job of it than I ever do. Going in against the old enemy on Friday. Sorry, Mike. Obviously, not an enemy, you're our brother, but Colin fan. I noticed you're not wearing your shirt tonight, which is interesting. It's in the wash.
Washing off all that dirty. Fresh.
Before we kind of finish off on England's performance and looking forward to the game on Friday against Scotland, and I just want to put it out there, I actually want Scotland to do okay, not against England obviously, but I'm a big fan of the home nations doing well, so I'm just not against England. Mike, what did you make of Scotland's performance? I mean, I was at work and I've got quite a few Scottish friends, and I think the phrase is not very happy.
Nah, like honestly, I can sum it up. 19 shots and 11 were blocked. I rate the Czech defence, but yeah, I think Scotland were just unlucky. I enjoyed watching the game, I'll be honest. And you know, in the early days of like Bielsa's Leeds and that, we're used to watching games that you dominate, but you just get nothing from the game. And if my teams, whether it's national or club level, my team plays shit, I'll say we played shit and we didn't deserve to win it. But that game, I genuinely felt deserved to get something from it.
Do you think Scotland just missed some quality? Because I mean, there were a really good chance from that striker. I can't remember his name. Dykes.
Yeah, Lyndon Dykes. Right. I didn't even know what club he played for. Then I looked it up. QPR makes sense.
I scored a few as well towards the end of the season.
Yeah, but for me, you put Che Adams in there. Like it's a no-brainer. But I mean, some of the selection was, you know, Tierney obviously not available. James Forrest, a good option on the right as well. Robertson had a great chance and he skied it. It's just individual errors and not being clinical enough, really. And Cooper as well. If you want to get onto Cooper, he had a great game as well. He was absolutely fine.
I thought we were pretty steady. There were one bit where the keeper just proper sold him out in corner. I think he was quite near end.
Oh yeah. I mean,
he struggled then, but.
Yeah, I mean, he won, I think, well, I had a little look up. He won 6 aerials, which was third most on the pitch and against the Czech side as well, you think, 96 touches, which was most on the pitch, 65 accurate passes. And he was in the left of a back three. So he's, good game. I think the worst point was when Schick got that first header and Cooper and the other lad in the centre-back.
He wasn't really Cooper's man, was he?
He weren't Cooper's man. It was Grant Hanley's man.
Yeah.
Grant Hanley, who plays for Norwich. Cooper was a bit deeper, but then, Schick just had a great game. And, by Leverkusen, will he be there at the end of this tournament? You don't know. But, they got some good players, and the defence is solid. Like I say, they get back to, like, 2 banks of 4. Souček's in there, that Kufal from West Ham. A couple of Sparta Prague players. they're no mugs. But yeah, I just think Scotland were just unlucky. But exciting to watch. I enjoyed watching it, and hopefully the selection's stronger for Friday.
He's got to start Adams. He's got to start.
Yeah, yeah.
He made a massive difference when he came on at half time.
Yeah, Dykes had too many missed opportunities. Some tap-ins. You know, it's just like it could have been 3-2, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. But it was a good performance. You know, what can I say?
Before we get back to the England-Scotland game and coming up on Friday, and we start talking about what we think his lineups will be, but from a Scottish perspective and an English perspective, let's check in on how the other Leeds players fared. So Robin Koch and Diego Llorente both started on the bench for their respective nations. Gianni Alioski started for North Macedonia. I watched the game. Did anybody else catch the game?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I've seen his challenge. I've seen his challenge.
Yeah, the yellow card.
Yeah.
I'd had a few gins by this point.
So had he, by the looks of it, the way you flew into that one.
I did do a moment where I sat back and thought, that's very Gianni, that's very Gianni. But obviously embroiled in a little bit of controversy with former West Ham player and well-known strop merchant Marko Arnautovic, who's been subsequently banned for the next game for, I think, what did they say?
Is it just a one-game ban?
Yeah, I think so.
Insulting
for
racism.
I mean, did they class it as racism? Was it? I know that it's been sort of branded about a bit as racism, but if they're doing all this stuff to stop racism, they should have gone hard for me.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, the verbatim quote was like insulting another player, whether it's like a comment about his mum or whatever, you know, like a Zidane, you know, retribution for whatever that guy said about his sister or whatever. It's like, but
we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, Johnny's a wind-up merchant, isn't he? You know, you don't know what he said back and forth. Like,
we'll have to wait and see on that. Obviously, Goran Pandev became the first dinosaur to score in a major tournament for North Macedonia at the ripe old age of 77. They looked a little bit off in North Macedonia. I kind of hope that there'd be a little bit of a wild card and we could all get behind them like we did with Iceland a couple of years ago at the World Cup. But I don't think it's going to really materialise. Of the other teams, Mateusz Klich with Poland, they had a decent go at it, and Klich had a reasonably good game, to be honest. He kind of
they're a bit poor, I think, Poland.
Yeah. Well, if you take Lewandowski out of there, they're very poor. To be fair,
and he was
as a unit.
I don't think it was much to do with Klich. I thought Klich did what he had to do, and what he did was okay. I just think they struggled to get anything to Lewandowski, didn't they?
Yeah.
I didn't see much of it, but every time I saw it, Klich seemed to be playing like right wing.
Yeah.
He was really
That's what he likes to do,
wide.
doesn't he? He likes to drift out to that right and stuff, and that's where he's best for me.
On Mateusz Klich, did you see Kalvin Phillips do the Mateusz Klich diagonal run for England? Did you see that?
No.
Anybody catch that? Trippier got it in the left back position. There was literally nothing in front of him, and Kalvin made that very Klich diagonal dart into the corner to stretch the play, and Trippier played him in. And straight away, I was like, he's obviously playing with Klicky, and he's doing a Klicky. So I'm happy with that. So that's kind of it in terms of Leeds influence at the tournament at the moment. Obviously, I'm kind of happy to see Llorente and Koch staying up bench, if I'm really honest, and I kind of be happy if Scotland went out a bit earlier so Coops could have a rest, and I kind of be happy if we just wrap Kalvin in bubble wrap and don't let him get poorly in any way, shape or form.
What about Tyler Roberts?
That's 2 games that he hasn't played in.
Yeah, he's not going to look in, is it?
I don't think he played today either, did he?
Over Roberts.
I can see why, though, to be honest, Mike, because Kiefer Moore, he's like a throwback to the 1980s, but he's quite effective at what he does, and just being.
But when you've got players that they have with delivery, like Bale, Ramsey, some at fullbacks, you're going to need someone big like a Kiefer Moore, even if it's just holding up or getting the head on a few balls and whatever from.
I think I noticed you didn't include Dan James in that with good delivery there.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about it.
I mean, did you see that one earlier?
No, I had it on, but I would
a 4-on-2.
It just needs sliding in front of him on floor, doesn't it?
Exactly.
And he
missed him by about 10 yards.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Roberts is one of them where, and I thought he might have done it today actually to try and stretch the game a little bit, but he opted to put Bale through middle, didn't he, and bring Harry Wilson on, who seems to be the golden boy at the moment. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll see if Tyler stays on the bench after signing his new contract, which we mentioned last week.
Is that the same Harry Wilson that all Liverpool fans want to swap for Rafinha?
Swap for Rafinha, yeah. That's happening, That's happening,
Idiots.
That's definitely happening. Other Euro news then. Paul Pogba has breached UEFA's COVID rules because he went into crowd to hand his shirt to a fan after France's 1-0 win over Germany and could now face punishment. Wow.
Well, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Wow, it would be.
That would be hilarious because he was very good.
Yeah, you know what? I was talking about it to my mates on WhatsApp because a few of them are Scum fans, and I was like, how do you have a player like that who just only seems to be asked when he wants? I just couldn't ever get behind a player like that. He's clearly incredibly talented, but just only bothers like when he can be asked, and hardly ever in a Scum shirt as well, which I think is
pretty much. Was it Roy Keane and Vieira before was sort of having that? Because I think Roy Keane started bigging Pogba up, and then Vieira started bigging Pogba up, and Roy Keane were like, "Well, he doesn't do it every week in, week out," and he had a fair point.
Yeah,
because he should be up there as one of the best players in the world with his ability.
Well, some of the stuff he can do is incredible, but like you say, he just turns it on whenever he wants, which is just
If he had the attitude of Kante, I think he needs to be around Kante more often because
what a player,
rub off on him. What a player, what a human, player. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy.
I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad game.
Kante,
no, I don't know. No, he's an excellent player. Just running off on a tangent because that's what we do on this podcast. Going off on a tangent, Adam Stocks' podcast with Stubbs and Dan Taylor have just done a 2-part interview with Liam Bridcut, and I would definitely recommend listening to both parts. But from a Leeds point of view, listen to the second part as well about his time at Leeds and working under a certain manager who was a little bit rotund, who used to have the Leeds badges stitched onto his Giacomo clothing. I'll just leave it at that. Go check it out. Gone off on a tangent. Episode 1 and 2 with Rick Cup. He was absolutely brutally honest in the second episode as well about his upbringing, which shocked me. So definitely go give it a listen. And that's where I've segued across from Chelsea to Liam Bridcut. Now I'm coming back to the Euros right now. Lads, the tournament in general, see that it's seamless, Mike, isn't it? It's absolutely seamless. The tournament in general, then, who's been your standout team? I think for me, Italy and Belgium have been my favourite, I think, to watch. Both of them, I think them two will be in or around it. What about you guys? Ben, any difference on that?
I just think how France absolutely bossed the game. They didn't need to. They sort of went for it, got a goal, and then they literally just said, "Well, what have you got, Germany?" And Germany had nothing.
Yeah.
And they were
but then the counter attack is frightening.
Yeah. There was that one bit when Mbappe knocked the ball past. I mean, it might be Mats Hummels, who's 36, 37 now.
70.
But still, he just put the afterburner and he was just gone past him. And I thought they didn't stop from that. I thought it was definitely going to be a goal, but yeah.
Well, the first offside one where he knocked it curled it into the far post.
Yeah,
I called it. I was like, he's gonna do that thing that he just does. And, it was beautiful to watch. Yeah, the composure, ridiculous.
I found it a bit strange. Germany's approach to the game. They went with three centre backs, so obviously it's hoping to be a 5 out of possession. But then their attacking options was kick it at Muller's head. That was basically it. Kick it at Muller. Just clip it into him anywhere. And I'm not being funny. I don't particularly like. Well, I don't like Chelsea, but Rudiger's been superb for them since Tuchel's come in, and he just mopped everything up. A bit strange in biting Pogba as well, which surely there's got to be something come of that. I mean, they kind of just played it down, didn't they? Which is even more
well, even
strange.
in the studio, someone just went, it was just a little nibble. Well,
oh, right, so there's levels to nibbling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just because he didn't have a big chomp like Suarez.
If you stood it as the cue, then. If you stood it as the cue, you just
COVID rules.
Nibble person in front of you and and then turn around and go, sorry, mate, just a little nibble. I didn't take no flesh away, I just had a little nibble.
I like that guy for Fulham that someone on Twitter said that he bit himself.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
when Dukara bit him.
Yeah, particular highlight. So,
yeah,
back in the day, bit himself, yeah. Good one.
That's not what a bite mark looks like. This is.
Yeah, I think he wanted some dental impressions to prove that he didn't bite him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been all right, hasn't it? The tournament. I've enjoyed watching a lot of football, but I think I've got football fatigue.
Yeah, maybe. And I don't think the players have. I just don't think the games have been. I think they've been not wanting to lose. It's that first game.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's thought, let's just not go silly here.
Do you think
and we'll see a difference in the next couple of days?
There's a lot of 1-0s, isn't there? A lot of 1-0s.
Do you think a bit of that is this so many third places going through?
Yeah, possibly.
Which I didn't realise until just before the whole tournament kicked off, to be honest, that was even in the case. And I think, straight away, if you win a game, you're pretty much through. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's just, it's kind of like an odd thing, but I don't know what I like. I don't know whether I like that, to be honest.
No, I agree, mate.
No, I don't. Especially with 4 out of 6 going through as well. If it was 2 or 3, maybe 2, you could maybe say, all right, that's an excuse to go for it.
Yeah,
a bit. But I think like I say, with 4 or 5 of them going through, it's an excuse to sort of defend, not score, not get sort of beat by as many, and see where you end up.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Do you know, after last week's show when I said I weren't really up for it and I'd got a bit of football fatigue and England and all that type of stuff, so Sunday morning I got up and I'll be honest, it was coming home for me. We were going to win the tournament entirely. I had my Euro 96 Alan Shearer shirt on. I drove my son and his mate to their Sunday game with Three Lions, Vindaloo, World in Motion. Yeah, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. I don't know why that came on Spotify, to be honest, but it did.
Yeah.
And I was bang up for it. And then it was like the stars aligned. So my son played against a team who've just won the Yorkshire Cup. And obviously I talk about Judd a fair bit on the podcast. He hit the bar from 35 yard out and it bounced on the line a little bit like Frank Lampard in the Germany game. I think I was the only person on the sideline to shout at the ref and say, goal line technology, that went in. A little bit like Lampard against Germany. But I'll be honest, lads, I'm fully on the hype train now. I'm really excited for Friday against Scotland. And England have won me round a little bit. So let's talk about the Friday game.
Just on that, just before you move on, just because you mentioned their technology and everything like that. I think the use of VAR in this tournament has been brilliant so far.
It's all brilliant. International. It was great at the 2018 World Cup as well, wasn't it? It was fantastic.
It's almost as if it's not there. And the commentators don't hardly mention it. And it's like they're itching to almost, because it's like, especially like handballs in the box and stuff like that. The amount of times there's an appeal, as if like, let's get VAR out and everything like that.
The referees actually have bottle,
Yeah, I tell you what, the referee's been good as well.
Yeah.
There's not been many poor.
I love it seeing all these referees going, get up, actually saying, get the fuck up off your ass.
But I like it.
The FA's and the Premier League's answer to last year's debacle with VAR is to make the lines
thicker lines, mate.
Fuck off, will you?
We should be watching this tournament going, this is how we do it.
More bureaucracy.
Yeah, and this is the argument we've had. We went over VAR that many times last season, and I'm maybe going to blow my own trumpet here. The VAR's not the issue. The technology is not the issue. It's the people who are using it, and they're just using it wrong. And this is the perfect example, but they won't take the examples like this from it. It's just stupid.
Yeah. But let's not go on about VAR because we'll be here all night. Let's talk about England, Scotland on Friday.
Speaking of VAR, Italy are just getting a VAR check right now for a goal they just scored. So that's perfect timing.
Right on cue. So looking forward to Friday then. Let's get from a Scottish perspective first with you, Mike. What would you like to see from a Scotland point of view on Friday, changes-wise and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, I'd like to see Che Adams in for Dykes. I don't know. I'd say get at Mings. Just get at Mings. He's the obvious weak spot in an otherwise great defence. It'll be low possession. So I expect, Che Adams off the shoulder. He'll be quicker than Stones, quicker than Mings. Get the balls to Tierney, Robertson, get him whipped in. just get at them. Like, I think it's just got to be on the front foot. And manager's a very defensive-minded manager, but yeah, you just got to get it down the wings. You know, it's going to be. I'm hoping high tempo, really exciting. Just don't sit back. Like, just go for it. Like, all the players always say, don't they? Like, oh, we're not here to just be involved. We're here to actually play. It's like, well, now's the time to show it, because they can create chances. Like, they've shown that. And I think the Czechs are a more defensively minded team than England. You know, I think England are obviously counter-attacking. I hope Cooper plays, because I think he's, again, really just calm. He's a good presence to have. And he can ping balls over the top as he has done. He started doing it sort of later in the season, didn't he, where he just straight balls over the top. And I think if you want that delivery, Cooper's great. For Che Adams to run onto, or Andy Robertson to run onto, you know, it sounds great saying it, you know, these names and that. So just don't be mugs, you know.
Right.
I like that Steve Clark's brought a new sort of tactic to Scotland. It's like the super high press. So your goalkeeper stays really far forward.
Oh yeah, the goalkeeper can stay
Get involved in the pressing. What's his handling like? Doesn't matter. His feet matter. Don't matter. Handling. His pressing is brilliant.
Yeah. No, he'll learn from that. Like, I think that's what was shocking was he's an old keeper. He's Marshall. He's fucking like 33 or something, and he's doing that shit. You just think,
it was
wow.
the moment. It was that angle from behind where he goes. Yeah. As soon as that player takes that shot and blocks it, he goes, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
He was just on his back, weren't he?
The Spider-Man photos are funny though. With him in a ball, with Spider-Man.
I mean, again, you just got to take it on the chin, haven't you? But the player before him, I can't remember if it was Henry or whoever, shouldn't have taken the shot. He should have played it out wide. Yeah, and that was the most obvious thing he could have done. And recycle possession. At that point, that player who's deciding whether to take a shot or play someone in shouldn't be worried that his goalkeeper is pretty much on the halfway line. He shouldn't be worried about that. True. But he does know that.
Let's take nothing away from that finish, though. That is an unreal finish. Like,
like I said, Schick, I don't think he'll be at Bayer Leverkusen long. If there's people watching,
he looks really good. He could have had a hat-trick as well. Proper centre-forward.
Lads, before we get the England perspective with Raggy and Ben, I just want to bring up one thing that's irritating me slightly. Why have we suddenly got double pivots, high block, low block, and all this type of shit? What's happened with two holding midfielders, one holding midfielder? You know, we press a bit higher, we sit deep. Why have we suddenly started going double pivot? All this sort of like weird, like it's like we've got to get down with the kids now in football tactics. Let's just keep it simple. You know,
they were a good one. I can't remember which team it was. I might have put it in our group chat that the commentator said. To play this way with a double pivot, even though they've been playing with one pivot.
The old secret pivot, that Ben. That's called the secret pivot. Yeah.
Dummy pivot.
I don't get it. Let's just call it what it is. You know, like it's a deep line or it's a high line. Let's just leave it. Anyway, moving on then to the England perspective. So I'm going to come to the two England correspondents, newly appointed, Ben and Raggy. More of the same lads for Friday? Same team, same performance? Because the England
I still would drop Mings, me. I just don't. He's a liability. I thought he had a good game. Don't get me wrong, but he's just a liability. He's an absolute liability.
Yeah.
One good game doesn't take that away from
him. I just don't think Ben White and John Stones is going to work. I can see why he plays Mings for his physicality. His big presence, and he doesn't really do much. He just hoofs it forward when he gets the ball, and that's all he does for Villa. But he's tall, and in them sort of situations, especially maybe against someone like Scotland, they've got some quite tall centre backs. Maybe, it'd be all right against this one. I do worry when you're getting further into the competition and you've got to play Portugal, France, whatever.
Well, if you're going to change your centre backs, it has to be in the group stages, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I suppose.
To be fixed.
But if Harry Maguire's going to be fit, which you'd have thought, by the second round, then
the rest of it, I'd keep it the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree, mate. Yeah, I'd agree.
And maybe. I said Reece James over Walker.
I would have that personally, but I don't think he will.
No, I don't
think
think
if he's
he will.
gone for Walker in that first game, but I would prefer James.
You've got Walker versus Robertson and Tierney on the left, because if Tierney's back in, he'll play like a left centre back role, and they'll be overlapping all up that left hand side. So can Walker deal with that?
Pace wise, yes.
I was going to say.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
And then I guess the only other sort of question for me, which he will play because he scored, was Sterling. I don't think he's not the top level Sterling that we've seen before, and I just think Grealish should be better.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Shall we talk about some Leeds United stuff? Let's talk about some Leeds United stuff. There's a little bit of news starting to trickle out. It sounds like the transfer machine is starting to warm up a little bit from an under-23 perspective, may I add. But before we get onto that bit of news coming out, the stadium redevelopment. So it appears that the new training ground is going on the back burner a little bit, and Leeds are looking to redevelop the stadium to a 55,000 capacity rather than the original 50,000 capacity, and they're abandoning the plans for the training ground redevelopment at the Matthew Murray site. All I can say about that is get me a fucking season ticket. That's what I'm saying. Get it done, Sharpish Angus. Get me a season ticket.
I was looking at the numbers, and at 55,000, you're probably looking at the expansion on the West Stand and the Cop for that.
Yeah, it'll be that way. Yeah,
it would have to be.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that the West Stand can kind of come back onto Fulton Park, and you get like a nice tunnel. In the car park,
kind of like at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go underneath,
As long as it doesn't segregate the players too much, because you still want to be able to see the players and that, like for kids and that.
Yeah. Other news then, the fixtures were announced today. Our WhatsApp group sprang into life just as I entered work, which was particularly difficult because I couldn't read any of them. But if for anybody who's been living in a cave or a cupboard or anything like that, first game of the season on the 14th of August, away to the Scummers at Old Trafford. Now,
best time of playing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Gives me the fear. Gives me the fear.
Do you think?
Yeah. I don't like that as an opening day.
Well, we know what we're like with this Bielsa side, that we come out of the traps fast beginning of the season.
Yeah.
We're ready at that point, and I guess it's been a bit skewed with COVID the last few years and stuff like that.
This is why it puts even more pressure on getting this left back sorted as well.
Yeah, sharpish.
Like 100%,
yeah, sharpish.
But if we can hit the ground running and hit them quick,
yeah.
They've got a lot of players sort of at a lot of their big players at the Euros and stuff like that. I suppose we've got a few, but I think it's perfect for us.
Yeah,
and then if we get a good result, then it's Everton who will be in transition.
Definitely.
All right.
With Rafa Benitez in charge.
Looks like Rafa Benitez is going there.
Yeah. But you don't know what players are going to play for him or who's going to want to go.
Opening the season against Jack Grealish's Man United. We'll have to wait and see. To roll that out there. December, however, does look a particularly testing month. However, we had
Merry fucking Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas with that fucking twat Thomas Franks Brentford, if he's still there. Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Villa over the Christmas period.
That's a stinker.
We said this. We said this about April last year.
Yes, we did.
Look how that went.
Yeah. We did. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll discuss the fixtures in more detail when we've finished our transfer dealings. Hopefully they'll start occurring soon. But they have started occurring what appears to be in the 23s and 18s, as we are currently in the process of signing a lot of children. Amari Miller made 5 first-team appearances for Birmingham last year after they saved themselves from relegation. Young midfielder. It looks like we might have pipped Everton to the signing of him. Don't know much about him, if I'm honest, but the Birmingham fans seem quite upset that he's coming, so that's good.
What number is he at Birmingham? Are they going to retire it?
47, I think. 47.
Yeah, they can retire that, can't
they? Next player, James De Bayo, Watford under 16s, so he'll be going in there. Again, highly rated. Watford fans not happy about that. I'm not too sure how they know much about their under 16s, by the way, but they're not happy with that. And then a player whose name I couldn't find, but Bradford youth player who our mate Brownie, the goalkeeper who looks like we're going to sign him as well. So the 23s is beginning to sort of tick into life, and the academy. So now just some first team news to come out soon. I mean, we've not heard anything just yet. It's all a little bit quiet on this mystery left back. Obviously, I think Leeds have. I think it was, what do they call him? Rajazani's mate to release the stuff. James Anderson, is it? Anderson? David Anderson? That's it. He said that Maxwell Cornet had been offered to us, but Leeds weren't keen on the 20 million that they wanted, so maybe that's not going to happen. And I saw him linked with Southampton, Arsenal. Anyway, some linked to someone else. So the hunt for the mystery left back continues.
20 million's a good price though for a League One champion.
Well, do you know something, mate? So did I, but then I saw a lot, and I mean a lot, of Lyon fans saying good as crap.
A lot of Sociedad,
yeah. Absolutely.
And it's been a revelation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it's a little bit quiet at the moment, but that's how we like it. Other bit of news, Angus Kinnear interviewed with Adam Pope on BBC Radio Leeds and said that Marcelo has chose not to go back to Argentina because he wants to oversee the transfer dealings and set things in place for pre-season. So he's not signed the contract yet, but it's a formality. It's a formality. Yeah. He says that he's got to do 2 more sessions with under-11s before he can qualify for his next coaching badge. Not Leeds related, but kind of. Brighton have rejected a 40 million bid from Arsenal for Ben White. That's going to happen. For me, that'll happen. He'll go there.
Yeah,
definitely, he'll go there. They'll break the bank for him for sure. Now the main man is back in the house. The main Raggy predictor. We're gonna get a recap on last week, but before we do that, we've got to hear from Raggy's predictor sponsor.
It's here. It's arrived. So, from our new sponsors at Manscaped, where we can offer you 20% off with Shaving Shutt discount code. Let's see what we've got. Little bag, we'll cut that in a bit. Some large boxer shorts, other sizes aren't available. Now we're into the hardware. Got shower friendly knacker trimmer, including LED light. 7,400 RPM, so the little leaflet thing tells you. Bit of ball toner. Game changer. Bit of anti-chafing ball deodorant. Made without sulfates, parabens or dyes. Gentle on the skin. Let's see what's in this little bag. It's only a game changer. You can store it on your bedside table. So, Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. 20% off with Shaving Shutt at checkout. Go check them out, manscaped.com.
So go get your Father's Day knacker trimmers from manscaped.com with 20% off with Shaving Shutt. Great bit of kit. We've all got one. We love it. Go buy one. That's all I'm going to go with on that. Yeah. That's it.
Do it. Bring an endorsement.
Over to the main man, the predictor god, Raggy. Over to you, pal.
Yeah. No, I thought you did well last week, mate. Filled in. Absolutely sound. Much better than our predictions, anyway, because no one had a faith in England, with myself going for a draw and Ben and Mike going for defeats. Only person who had any faith in the 3 lines was Gary. Didn't get the score right, though, so he picks up a point. It's a double week this week because I think we're playing.
Do we need to record your full Euros ones?
I haven't got all the categories on me, so unless Gary has,
I have.
I don't know.
Hold the phone. Here we go.
I mean, this is a bit kind of like
put him on the spot.
On the spot.
I will honestly try and be as honest as I would have at the beginning of the thing.
So first and foremost, we need your dark horse from North Macedonia, Slovakia, Hungary, Wales, Scotland, Finland, Czech Republic, or Austria.
I'd have said out of all of them, Austria.
Right, okay, so you're having Austria. Next, Rags, we need your top scorer for the tournament. You cannot say Romelu Lukaku.
No, I definitely would. He was my top scorer of the tournament before a ball was even kicked. Honestly,
Okay.
And then I know he scored 2 in the first game, but honestly.
Okay. So Lukaku for you. Top assist maker.
Kalvin Phillips. No.
He's got more than
Exactly. God, that's a tough one. Berardi at Italy.
I will say I thought Gaetano might be a stretch.
Not that Berardi.
Jesus.
And finally, mate, your winner of the tournament.
France.
Okay. I thought you'd go with France. Right, Rags, back over to you.
Okay. So you pick up a point. It's double week this week with us playing Friday and then Tuesday. So first up, Scotland, and there's only one person to start with. Mike, what is your prediction for England versus Scotland?
2-1 Scotland. Just give me that.
2-1 Scotland. Love it.
I don't even care. I just
And
want
he said
Scotland
that with a
to
straight
stay
face as well, which is even more impressive.
Yeah, I just want us to stay in the competition for fuck's sake. But yeah, 2-1, whatever.
Gaz?
It'll be a great game.
2-0 England. Kalvin Phillips to score.
Yeah.
Ben?
4-0 England.
Woo!
4-0.
Somebody's had 2
Look at Mike's face.
When's the last time England scored 4? Like,
Probably against
I was gonna say.
another shit team like San Marino.
I reckon 2-0 England.
fair.
I think 2-0 England. Against the Czechs, we'll go in reverse order this time, so I'll go first. I'm saying 3-1 England. Ben?
I'm going to 2-1 England.
Gary?
Yeah, I agree with Ben. 2-1 England. Kalvin Phillips to score.
Mike?
I think 2-2.
Desmond?
Yeah. 2-2, yeah.
Right. So far, Mike, in 3 predictions, has not thought England's going to win a single game. Thought Croatia beat us, Scotland would beat us, and then a draw against the Czechs.
To be fair,
If there's anybody anti-English on here, come on.
No, I want Kalvin to do superbly well. To be fair, I think Ben thought Croatia were gonna win as well.
Oh yeah, he did. I thought
that was more because I wasn't happy with England than Croatia.
I wasn't very impressed with Croatia either. I must say.
No,
one of the big things about the Croatia game was the change in momentum. Like, England came out of the blocks, and I was like, "Where was this in the friendlies?" You know what I mean? Like, the complete opposite happening there. And I think it was because of Kalvin just being pushed further up the field. Yeah, bossing it. So, no, I reckon, yeah. I just want Kalvin to do really well.
There's a good question on come through from Facebook. Is Mike from the same town in Scotland as Liam Cooper?
I'm actually... This is the funny thing. I'm actually more Scottish than most of the Scotland team because I'm half Scottish, not a quarter. You know what I mean? Yeah. No.
That Scottish town of Hull.
Yeah. No, I couldn't have that accent. Scarbedos.
No, definitely not.
Scarbedos, lovely neck of the world. So,
Glaswegian family.
Thanks very much to the king of predictors, Raggy, who's back in the house, obviously. Don't forget, you can go and get some knacker trimmers, various other things, ball toner, t-shirt, boxer shorts, all that stuff from Manscaped. And a big thanks to them who obviously sponsored us over the last few weeks. You can get your 20% off with Shaving Shutt at checkout. And I'm going to get into this.
Shit out of the week.
The Shithouse of the Week award. So this week's nominations are the Daily Mail for their absolutely disgusting article on Kalvin Phillips. The lad has just gone and had a superb game in his first major tournament for England, and all they can do is attempt to dig up dirt on his family and skew it from a bad angle. Fuck off. The national press do this to every single England side, and it's wrong on a human level, but it's also wrong. Like, why do we do this to us national side at a major tournament?
They're building up and then bringing down, isn't it?
Yeah, they did it to Gaza at Euro 96. They did it to Gaza. It should be sent home for dentist chair, all this type of stuff. Like, just fuck off. Just write a nice feel-good article. You know, talk about, you know, the struggles that Kalvin's mum had, and talk about how he's successfully, you know, been with the same girl since he was 11. All them other things. Talk about how he was sort of not expected to go on and done what he's done under. Like talk about him getting promoted with his, you know, his boyhood club. Fuck off with the negative shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Couldn't agree with you more. It was disgusting.
So we've got a shit house of the week, but in a good way. When Spain had an absolute nightmare and Leeds tweeted out a Rodrigo appreciation tweet. So
it was proper shit house. It was perfect timing. Everyone was.
Spain was struggling to score.
Spain was struggling.
Yeah.
Morata couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo, and
so Leeds out a montage of.
I was going to say
goals.
Craig Wilson just sticks that out.
Oh yeah,
perfect.
Just on
somebody said about those rags. It's the only loo roll that comes with the shit already on it. Right.
Robert Mason, don't buy it. I can confidently say that none of us have bought it. We've just seen it on social media.
Yeah.
Don't even click on it.
No, exactly. Marko Nautovic for his abuse towards Gianni Alioski. And that's it, gents. That's all we've got. Sony have obviously
got one.
Nulled from the thing.
Whoever's to blame for Freedom Day being put up back.
Oh God.
Well, we know it's to blame.
I'm not going to blame anyone. I'm not going to go into that.
Oh God, here we go. We're going to be inundated with anti-vaxxers, vaxxers, mask wearers, muzzles, blah 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 blah. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, all them.
All them. Yeah, you're right.
I just want to be free.
I am. Be free. That's the start of the song. That. What song is that?
Primal Scream.
Loaded
in it.
William Wallace. If we're going on the Scottish English thing.
That is a great film, by the way. That is a great film. Anyway,
it's a great film, but it's a load of shite because half of it never happened.
Oh, all right, Mike. All right.
Yeah, but all Scottish will be watching it and crying on Friday night.
All right, Mike. We've all had a drink. It's okay.
I am blue.
Who are we going to give it to? The Daily Mail. None of us bought, but we're obviously all made aware of. I'm not even going to read the rest out. We're going to give it to the Daily Mail. Just stop it. Just stop it. Yeah. Just national press. Just stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
So in general, like everything.
Yeah, it's just like
stop being wankers.
Just liquidize.
Do you not think it's like the mainstream media in general though? Like I obviously exclude people like Popey and Phil and all them from it, but like you put Good Morning Britain on it, it's just negative after negative after negative after argument after argument after this after that after the other. It's painful. It's
gutter press.
Painful. It's gutter press.
I've no beef with regional press, like you say. If there is any,
no beef whatsoever.
If there is any fucking dignity or pride left in journalism, it is regional level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because the national lot would sell the soul for a story. For definite. Yeah. We've digressed again. That's what we do at Talking Shut. Lads, that kind of brings us to an end of episode 149. Before we go, though, don't forget we will be recording from the Tipsy Cow on the conclusion of the Euros, and we bought our equipment, which we're working on at the moment. Don't forget you can go buy yourself keyring from the Terrace and contribute towards a club being able to apply for a defibrillator from themselves in light of the cardiac issues around Christian Eriksen, amongst many other people who probably don't find the press, like Carl said. Don't forget to go to Ananya Garms and go get a Talking Shut t-shirt of Krish. I've not actually seen anybody wearing one yet. We've not had any pictures of one, so please send us one. Enjoy the game on Friday against the old enemy, Scotland. Sorry, Mike, I have to call it that. It's in the press. I don't really mean it. It's a nice place. I like Scotland personally. And yeah, this is an end of episode 149. Gents, it's been a pleasure again. All I'd say is if you're listening back to this on a podcast provider, as loads of really good people have. Leave us a review on Facebook, preferably a nice one. But if you want to, take your anger out on us because you're having a bad day, we're good for that as well. You can just leave whatever you want on there. I'll just delete it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because simply we've not got many subscribers. I think we're around 700 or something. So subscribe to that and buy yourself some knacker trimmers. And I think that's about it, lads. Have I got all else to cover? No? I don't think so. No. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure. We do appreciate everybody who tunes in, listens, shares, interacts with us, all that other stuff. Keep doing so, and we'll see you next week for episode 150. Well, hopefully we'll be talking about some more positive results for our nations.
I'll just jump on England bandwagon. I'll just go. Oh, well, I'm also half English, so.
And maybe we'll get to talk about some Leeds transfer news as well. Yeah. So, big thanks to Mike. Big thanks to Raggy. Big thanks to Ben. Real pleasure, and we'll see you again next week. I'll see you there.
See you there.